Alright everybody, let's do a quick response video here and see what we can do. So we have a comment here that I wanted to respond to in a video format because I think it'd be really interesting to have a discussion about this. From my Lightborn situation video, so I'm going to link that probably at the end or in the description depending. But anyway, comment reads, my main issue with Lightborn is that it's permanently active. Like, people despised Iron Will because it was just a perk slot to fully deny a killer tracking mechanic. Let alone all survivor perks that got reworked because they affected a few killers in specific, so it's a double standard. With Lightborn being removed as a mechanic too, Lightborn simply makes... with Lightburn being removed as a mechanic too, Lightborn simply makes flashlights entirely useless as an item. Imagine if that was still true for that Saboteur allows you to sabotage trapper traps. You would have one killer that have its power denied by the existence of one perk. If that's not acceptable, then why is it acceptable for any survivor item? So my stance is, as long as Iron Will needs to be deactivated while exhausted, Lightborn should be deactivated with some reason, especially since blindness was added as a mechanic. A simple deactivates when someone is downed or hooked, meaning if you downed or hooked one person, it activates the moment you pick up, but if you downed or hooked more than one person, it's deactivated when you pick someone up. That way, it doesn't fully deny a survivor item entirely, it's active pretty much 99% of the match and only deactivates when you have a lot of pressure and can afford a flashlight save to happen against you. That is legitimately all Lightborn needs today, just any reason for it to deactivate in a match for the briefest of time. So I have to respond to this because I entirely disagree with this and I want to be able to have a conversation about it. So we're going to break it down step by step here. So first thing, it says that it's permanently active is the main issue. People despise Iron Will because it was just a perk slot to deny a killer tracking mechanic. The reason that Iron Will needed to be changed was because of the mere fact that it completely denies an entire tracking mechanic, like it just said, but that affects the entire match. You injure a survivor, you could not hear them at all, ever. Like, that is a completely different conversation entirely. A perk that literally just denies and deletes an entire way to track down survivors versus being blinded is two different things. So the point that they're trying to make is that Lightborn is permanently active and Iron Will was as well, so it's the same thing. It's like, no, that is not the same thing. That is simply not the same thing at all. Iron Will affects a tracking mechanic versus Lightborn being you don't get blinded. Those are two different things. And being blinded only matters if you're picking somebody up. So why does that matter? Does it matter when they're going for like plays, like saves? Of course. But that is a small portion of the entire game versus not being able to find people. Because Iron Will's impact is much stronger than not being blinded. Not being blinded, you could still, assuming it's flashlights, you can still face the wall, not get blinded, and still be able to get away with it. Versus, I can't find them even though they're injured, therefore I can't get any downs, therefore I lose the game because I can't find anyone. Two different things. With Lightburn being removed as a mechanic, yeah, Lightburn I believe was a very dated mechanic. That it worked on Wraith, it worked on Hag's traps, it worked on NERFs, and being able to just deny a whole killer's ability just because you're using an item is kind of insane, and that's what they were trying to remove in the first place. So that's why they took out Saboteur, because it's deleting the people's abilities. Like, you literally could just shine the light on Nurse when she's starting to blink. You could shine on Wraith when he's invisible and stun them for like a very long time, or remove Trapper's traps from the match. Like, you couldn't even get them back. That's essentially game breaking. Like, you're literally taking away people's abilities. Like, that doesn't, like, how would there is no double standard there at all. Lightborn simply makes flashlights entirely useless as an item. Or if you sabotage Trapper's traps, so he has no abilities. He has no way of using his power. My stance is as long as Iron Will needs to be deactivated while exhausted, Lightborn should be deactivated with some reason, especially since blindness was added as a mechanic. No, that doesn't make any sense, okay? Iron Will being deactivated while exhausted was a counter because of the fact that they can easily stealth around the map. And it gives it an actual counterplay, and it actually makes it so that it's not a free stealth perk. Because as we've seen before with even like distortion, they wanted to it was a beautiful change with distortion. They want to change out that ratting, like super stealthy, boring gameplay, because not every single character can just have free information on people that hide that much. Therefore drawing out games, and it makes it less interesting for both sides. It's not fun to go up against, and it's not fun to watch either, or anything like that. So adding a mechanic for Lightborn to this degree is just irrelevant and doesn't make any sense. Being blinded is I mean, sure, it can create a play, but there's multiple avenues to create that play. Say for example that, you know, you can't blind them, but say you have Saboteur and you sabotage the hooks. Or you take body blocks, so say Metal a Man. Or you say, like, are able to apply pressure another way, so you can like push the gens quicker. There's different avenues than just being blinded. So to sit here and compare, like, oh, you know, these all perks got reworked because they affected a few killers in specific, like that's not a double standard. That literally, like, you're removing an entire ability from a killer. That literally takes away like their entire power, or invalidates their power. Like Hag's traps can just get all deleted with just the flashlight. That's insanely powerful, because you can get multiple flashlights from leveling up your survivor. You can just get like 3, 4, 5 and have them all across matches. And say that Lightburn mechanic was still in the game. That means at least half the roster at that time would just get countered by a single item. That's insane. Because a killer can't change their ability mid-game, but a survivor can switch their items mid-game. You can open a chest and pick up a toolbox. You can pick up a med kit and change your role on the fly. A simple deactivates while someone is downed or hooked, meaning that if you downed or hooked one person, it activates the moment you pick up, but if you downed or hooked more than one person, it deactivates while you pick someone up. My biggest issue is that you're basically trying to say, hey, let's make it so that people can just get free flashlight saves when the killer has pressure. Basically invalidating the whole point of the perk. Because what the whole point of this change is that they're trying to pitch here is that they want it so that you can blind killers at pallets all the time, and you can blind people when they're like having 2 people down and applying pressure in different ways. And it says it right here, you can't fully deny a survivor item entirely, but there's still other perks that, I mean, there's one other perk that does that, and it's Franklin's Demise, which is still a fantastic perk, and I love that item. I mean, that perk, I should say. One of my favorite perks. Doesn't deny a survivor item entirely. The thing is that this falls apart. This statement, it doesn't fully deny a survivor item entirely, falls apart by the fact that you can swap items at any freaking time. You can swap your item at any point in the match. Somebody can hold on to a key, they put it on the ground, now you can pick it up. You open a chest and you can find a different item entirely that can do a different thing. Is active pretty much 99% of the match. That's not true at all, because with what they're saying is that you can get blinded at pallets and get blinded everywhere else, but only if you're picking up. So that means that they can blind you at pallets, they can blind you with flashbangs around corners, they can still blind you with everywhere else, but only if you're picking up, and only if you only downed one person. What are you talking about? That makes no sense. Because what they're trying to ask for, it says the only deactivates when they have a lot of pressure, which is the exact problem that we're trying to prevent with having Lightborn active. We're trying to prevent something like this, because we don't want to get blinded by an uncounterable perk like Flashbang or get blinded through a crack in the wall for no reason and lose all our pressure for literally no reason. Like, you can face a wall and still get blinded by things like this. That's the whole point of even equipping it in the first place, is to continue your pressure, because if they make a mistake, you can just counter it by downing 2 people. By removing that option is just completely taking away the whole point of having it in the first place. And can afford a flashlight save to happen against you? No. Okay. Is active pretty much 99% of the match? No, it's not. You just finished saying right here that you want it to be that when it only activates if you down 1 person, and only when you pick it up. But if you down 2 people, then it deactivates. And only deactivates when you have a lot of pressure and can afford a flashlight save to happen against you. No, that's not how that works. That's not like, this tells me that they don't understand how the game works. By you having pressure and getting blinded in that way doesn't mean that you are going to afford to be able to lose that pressure. Pressure with killer is so easily removed. It's insane. You can have you can literally have deliverance happen, unbreakable could happen, a decisive could happen, dead hard can happen. Like they could have a boon that picks everyone up. You could have like we're gonna live forever, made for this. You could have multiple different perks that can deactivate your pressure in seconds. So there is no point in the match where you can afford to have a flashlight save happen against you, because if a flashlight save happens against you at any point, it can completely shift the entire game. So that already says that you don't understand, like, that this person does not understand how the game works. Like, Lightborn does not need to deactivate at any point, because just like by running Lightborn, you're not only choosing to not have like Franklins that will remove their items from their hands so that you don't have to deal with it, but also the mere fact that you also are taking a perk slot to basically just deny that one thing, which is just blinds. Which in most cases is not a problem, because like I've said, you could open a chest and pick up a separate item. You can literally trade your item with somebody else. They could drop it on the ground and you can use that instead. You can literally just hold on to it. If you survive, you can just keep it for your next match. You can literally, if you lose the item, you can level up your survivor and just get a brand new flashlight that was the exact same rarity. Say green, yellow, brown, doesn't even, or I don't think they come in brown. The batteries do, but not that item. Purple, whatever. You can get those in the blood web right after. And this game has so many ways of getting blood points, whether it be weekly gifts, whether it be blood point events, the blood point bonuses for the side you play. There's so many ways of getting blood points, codes even during events and stuff like that. You can just level up and just get it right back, or you already have multiple in your inventory anyway. So why would one match of not being able to use that item matter in the grand scheme of things? And to compare it to perks in the past that completely remove the entire killer's ability to do anything, like Nurse being like burned out of her blink, Hag's traps being removed from a distance with a flashlight, Trapper's traps getting destroyed so he can't use them anymore, are two completely different things. Because a killer can't swap their abilities mid-game like a survivor can swap an item. And the reason Iron Will was changed and has been a problem was because of the fact that they are completely silent. There isn't any breathing to really be hearing. There's no grunts of pain. So say they combine that with other perks, or even back then when like the game was like, I think had way less like lighting, like very dark maps and stuff like that. They can hide in bushes. You'll never be able to find them. And even nowadays, say it was still like that. You have perks that hide scratch marks. You have different ways of hiding as a survivor, making it impossible for killers to even find them in the first place. So how would that be even remotely close to just, oh, I didn't get a blind. Oh, I didn't blind him at the pallet. Oh, I didn't, which mind you doesn't do anything. Oh, I didn't get the, I couldn't get the flashlight save. It's like, yeah. And even more so, you can counter the flashbang, which has still been bugged for ages, but also the mere fact that it's just impossible to counter. Because as I've said, even in the Lightborn video, like, you literally cannot counter it. The blind will literally, like, you can look up, get blinded, you can walk into it without any hearing even the thing drop, and you can get blinded. While picking up facing a wall, you get blinded. Like, you can get blinded from multiple different ways, and you can't do anything to counter it. Having a perk for it at least helps prevent that situation from occurring. And say that you don't go for a flashlight blind or anything like that, technically speaking, you're invalidating his perk as well, right? Because if you're not even attempting blinds, he pretty much, like, that killer has a slot that's not doing anything, technically speaking. It goes both ways. It equalizes it. Because you're not going for blinds, therefore Lightborn isn't doing anything. The only time Lightborn matters is if you go for the blind in the first place and it gets completely countered. Literally. But with that being said, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this far, leave a like, comment, subscribe to all the YouTube things for me. Support the channel with the links in the description. Let me know what you guys think about this. Should Lightborn have some kind of way to deactivate? If so, why? And let's have a discussion in the comments, man. See you guys in the next one.